In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how I stretch my canvases. It's a question I get in comments and DMs so often that I wanted to just make a video as a placeholder so that anyone could figure this out. So here are the tools you're gonna need. You're gonna need a staple gun, of course, because that's the whole way you're gonna get this on. I've seen some people use nails, and it's usually in Europe that people use nails, but we're gonna stick with a staple gun because it's a little bit easier. You're gonna need staples, of course, so don't forget that. Now, this is one of the most handy tools, especially if you're trying to unstretch a canvas. So you're gonna need one of these. So even if you're not trying to unstretch a canvas, sometimes you'll accidentally staple it in a place where it's not serving you, and you'll need one of these to quickly take, it's a staple remover. I think they're like $10 on Amazon. That's what I would get. There is these tools that are like clamps that pull the canvas towards you. I have one at home. I just do not like how it feels to stretch the canvas that way. So I usually just use my hands and I'll pull and staple. So I'll show you what I mean. Now we have this canvas free from the stretcher bar. Usually, if this was a blank canvas, it would be okay to lay here. But sometimes if you're re-stretching it onto a bar, you wouldn't want to lay it onto a dirty floor. So you can get like nice paper or some sort of plastic to lay down as like a tarp. That's what I would suggest. We're gonna place the stretcher bar right directly in the middle of our canvas. If you're cutting canvas to size, make sure there's 3 inches on every side. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take each side and give it 1 staple. So what I do is I'll take it, I'll pull it up with my hands, and then I'll just send a staple. And then we're gonna do that to the next side as well. So we're gonna go to the opposite side and give it 1 more staple. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the middle, give it a staple. Since we have that side stapled, we're going to pull this side, the opposite side, a little bit harder because it's gonna create tension. So what I do is I pull it, wrap it around, take it with my fingers, pinch it, and then give it a nice staple. What this is gonna do is gonna create this diamond-like shape. I don't know if you can really tell with the canvas because it's painted on already, but it's supposed to have this like diamond situation. And that's how you'll know you're starting to stretch okay. So what I do is I go through and I repeat the process, not 1 by 1 staple. So what I'll typically do now, since I have 1 staple on each side, is I'll do like 5 staples here, 5 staples there, 5 staples there, 5 staples there. And I'll just keep going around until I get to the corners, and that's gonna be the trickiest part, so keep watching for that. Okay, now I've gotten pretty much all the sides stapled up. We're about to work on the corners, which is definitely the most difficult part of this process, and you can watch many videos on it, and it still might not make sense. So I'm gonna try to explain it as simple as possible because it is a tough concept, but once you get it, you'll nail it forever. Seems confusing at first, but once you get it, you get it. You don't want to staple it all the way up to the corner. Like you don't want to go staple, 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 because then you won't be able to like bend it around. So what I did was I stopped pretty fairly like right there, boom, boom. So what I do is you try to decide on which way it's gonna flip, you know, so which way is it going to actually bend, which I like to do the long side. So this is the long side in this situation. I like to take that and make that flip inward so that the top and the bottom have a flap that's covering like that, you know? So what I do is I'll take my thumb and I'll place it in this side piece right here. I don't know if you can see that, but Let's see. So I place my thumb along it and then press it. I'll try to fold it over. For me, I don't necessarily like this little lip right here, so I'll keep refolding it and getting it just right. So I'll go all the way out sometimes and then put my thumb back in that hole and flip it. But I try not to have that crease if I can help it. So that's a nice one there. You can always go back and cut this little piece off if you want to make it cleaner. This little triangle, I mean. But for right here, this looks pretty darn good. So let's see if I can show you. If you want it to be nicely pressed to where there's not much of a lip, even then I might go back and try to delete that little piece. See, once you start messing with it, it can kind of go back, but what I'll do is I'll just keep working it, and then that's a nice one right there. That's perfect. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for this nice little perfectly along the line. So what I'll do is that I'll pull it as hard as I can towards the middle, and I'll give it a nice staple horizontally right there. I'll keep it pressed down. I'll give it one more at the corner diagonally. And then I'll work my staples up, pulling and stapling all the way to that corner. You want to staple all that down too to give it a nice even playing field, and do the same along this side. Some of the staples get off a little bit. Cool, so that's a corner. And now I have to do it 3 more times. So now we have a fully stretched canvas. All the corners are nicely tucked in. And I'm sweating like crazy because there's no AC in here, just have the one little fan. But yeah, as you can see, it is a little bit tighter than it was when I first did it. It's definitely not as tight as I want it. So there's a few little fixes I can use with that. One being rabbit skin glue. I have not used it yet, but something that I just ordered, it's coming in the mail. So that's going to basically tighten up the canvas like crazy. And it's going to make it really like a drum. The bigger you get, the harder it is to stretch these, obviously. But now I'm going to go back through with that hammer and these little pieces, and I'm going to hammer them into each corner of the stretching bar. I'm going to paint over it. It's a lot tighter than it was before. It's not an incredibly long process, but it may take a good hour depending on the size of your canvas. So I hope that helped. I know it can be a little difficult to follow some of the older how-to videos on to make something in place for my audience to actually use as reference. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm gonna try to put on screen some things I wasn't able to actually say while sweating in the studio, but stay tuned for more. I'm gonna make more YouTube videos just like these.